you are deaf, dumb, blind, stupid, or probably poor, my name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman. You can hear all about me and my best friend Cody Rhodes at AEW Insider.
What's up, peeps? We're back, and thank you very much for joining us for this week's YouTube edition of the AEW Insider. I've been very busy on YouTube. Last week I posted the top 5 at best and worst Friday the 13th films, and just a day ago I did post part 1 of the 31 horror movies to watch in the month of October. So definitely check them out. Like, share, subscribe, show them some love, and check out our podcast. I just dropped a new Wrestling on Wednesday on all major podcasting sites. Remember, it's the AEW Insider on Facebook and YouTube, and the AEW Insider 1 on Twitter. All right, let's get to this week's show. First, of course, AEW news, because this is the AEW Insider, and it's all elite all the time. Chris Jericho canceled his upcoming appearance on Keeping It 100. It is a podcast that's hosted by ex-WCW wrestlers Conan and Disco Inferno. They were told live on air by their producer, so they called the GOAT, Jericho, left him a voicemail and told him pretty much that he doesn't stick to coming on their show, they're going to bury him on the air. Y2J called back and did not take too kindly to that. He ripped him a new a-hole. He told them he does not need their podcast. He's too big to do their podcast. He is the champion, and a ton more. So check it out on our Twitter, peeps. It's hilarious, classic Jericho. Cody Rhodes polled the fans on Twitter asking what we would think of a dinosaur mascot that shoots t-shirts to the crowd at AEW live events, and his name would be Dino. People voted good or bad. Majority said it would be okay, and then almost tied with that said that Cody shouldn't be an executive vice president. And then also Luchasaurus seen the tweet and responded that him and Cody needed to have a talk, which is too funny. Chris Jericho did appear on the finale of America's Got Talent last week. He helped the final contestant winning his journey. The guy has very short arms. Literally, they look like a T-Rex, but a human. So Jericho took time to help him realize his dream of being a wrestler, plus some tips on winning the contest. It was a very good segment. Kenny Omega is under a lot of heat. Like, to a fan like me, he's not under any heat to me because I know it was a work, and you know what I mean? But this is what happened. Kenny Omega did an interview with Pro Wrestling Sheet. He threw some serious shade at WWE's NXT roster, pretty much saying that NXT peeps and other aren't real stars, comparing them to his people. He pretty much said they're a joke. Like, there's an NXT star. He used to be a Ring of Honor. His name is Dominik Dijakovic. He took to Twitter after what he's seen Omega said. And he said, "Hey, Omega, remember my match with Keith Lee? We embarrassed yours on the PWG Homecoming weekend of BOLA 2017. He said, tune in Wednesday to NXT TV on USA so you can see the rematch and real stars can show you how it's done." Not to be left out, Joey Janela chimed in also. But Kenny Omega didn't mean it, literally, you know what I mean? But he pretty much said that you watch AEW, you're going to see professionals. If you watch NXT, you're going to see developmental talent. It isn't a contest, but it was a work. And then the Young Bucks did an interview also with TalkSport. They were asked about NXT in competition with them. They handled it a lot better. What they did say was, Nick Jackson said, "I watched some of it. Matt and I, we have a lot of friends there. Candice LeRae, we have a history with, so I'm happy for her. She was in her first match in a 4-way, and she did great. We were really happy for her." He said it was a fun show, but in 10 weeks from now, those fans might get tired. It happened with Impact. It took a while, but some of those shows that taped at Universal Studios, and he was laughing. He said those crowds were dead because they were actually at Impact for a while, the Young Bucks. He said it's definitely possible that this happens to NXT's audience because it's the same formula. Matt Jackson said, "I'm rooting for them, though. I want them to have a good show. Ours is just going to be better." See, that's the way of handling it, not like Omega did. But Omega, like I said, he was doing it just to get people riled up. They also discuss All Elite Wrestling's Dynamite, the name of it, Pac, John Moxley, and more. So that's pretty awesome. Now back to Joey Janela real quick. He revealed that he legit still is living with his mother, and that's exactly what you would expect from a character like Janela. He told he told BleacherReport.com that I still live with my mom, but I'm never home. Janela told Bleacher Report in an extensive interview that when TV starts, I'm going to get my own place and stuff. But right now, with my mom, she doesn't mind, and I don't mind either. It was a very candid interview. He talked about previous jobs he had before being a wrestler, like delivering pizzas, what have you. Definitely check out that full interview on br.com. As I reported on a podcast Wednesday, MJF will be fighting Brandon Cutler on October 2nd when they appear on TV, TNT. They've been going back and forth on social media. If you don't know, Cutler is a big cosplayer and a Dungeons & Dragons player, D&D. His wife makes costumes for that and gears for wrestlers. Anyway, the Dungeons & Dragons community did not take kindly to what MJF has been saying about D&D. Thousands upon thousands have united to tell MJF how they feel. One even made up an MJF D&D character with stats, everything. It's fucking awesome. MJF wasn't happy with it, but you got to check out the picture. I'll post it in this video. He's got his own D&D character. His special moves are stuff like he would do in wrestling called I'm Better Than You, what have you. It's fucking awesome. As I reported in the past, Chris Benoit's son David was backstage at a WWF event, WWE, listen to me, and also at an AEW event. He did meet Tony Khan. He went to their first show, Double or Nothing. This is what he said. He said, I love AEW. It's a good time, good quality product, and some good wrestling. He said, I want to go to AEW 100%. I love AEW. I love what they do for the boys. They take care of them. So everybody knows Chris Benoit's son wants to be a wrestler. He's a pretty big dude. He does wrestle, and he wants to go to AEW. And know how AEW is, like with their signing and their controversy and the blood, they don't give a fuck. They will give him a chance, and they should, because he isn't his father, even though I am a big fan of his father. And finally, for AEW news, AEW star Kylie Ray asked for a release a while back, which we covered. She said she was done with wrestling. They had an amicable split, you know what I mean, her and Tony. But this weekend, she made a wrestling return on the indies, which is very weird to me. It definitely couldn't have been AEW's pay or schedule. She had to have beef with somebody behind the scenes. So I can't wait for that to come to the surface so we can hear about it. Because why would you leave friggin' AEW and go back to the indies when they didn't even start on TV yet? You don't even have to wrestle really, and you're getting fucking paid. All right, WWE news. Ronda Rousey is being eyed for Disney Plus, aka Marvel. They want Ronda to play the title role of She-Hulk. Now, if you ask me, that would be awesome. Goldberg is beefing with another wrestler. I've been covering him and Matt Riddle going back and forth. It could all be an angle. It hasn't been confirmed yet. But Goldberg went to eat at some restaurant in Vegas, a nice one. And he bumped into my dog, Dolph Ziggler. They had an exchange of words and got into a pushing fight. Like they were going to attack each other, but had to be broken up by the people who were with them on each side. It looked kind of staged, but it could be a continuation or a setup for WWE TV. WWE hasn't even brought it up yet, though, so who knows? Dolph took to Twitter after this and made this statement. He said, "Dipshit took a break from ruining wrestling to ruin my night off. I'm not interested. Get a hobby or go fishing or something. Maybe you can do that without getting hurt. No other warning or comments on this from me. Thanks." So that's pretty fucking rough. People don't like Goldberg, man. They never have, honestly. WWE is bringing in Maury Povich to help sort out the baby's daddy drama of Maria Kanellis. I fucking love that. That's going to be a good segment. A few days ago, WWE legend Hacksaw Jim Duggan was rushed to the hospital with a serious infection. He had to cancel an appearance he had. His wife said a few days later that he's up and he's doing well, and they posted a pic of him doing his thumbs up like Hacksaw always does. We wish you the best, Hacksaw. All right. Evolve Wrestling champion and NXT new signee Austin Theory made his in-ring debut this week at an NXT house show. If you haven't seen Austin Theory or watched his previous work, that kid is such a star, it's not even fucking funny. He's going to be huge. Rey Mysterio attended a Vikings game. It was broadcasted on Fox TV. The camera went to him and the announcer said, "Hey, there's Rey Mysterio. Look at him. He looks like Nacho Libre," which is fucking highly insulting. Rey is a luchador and wears that mask because it's part of the culture. I wonder what's going to be said behind the scenes from both sides once Vince hears about it, Fox would have you, because that's pretty fucked up to say, man. You don't do that. We want to give a shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Miz on their second child. They had their baby on Friday, and this is what they had to say on Twitter. "We've got the whole world in our hands. Welcome, Madison Jade Mizanin." That's awesome, man. Congratulations, guys. You guys are the bomb, for real. Daniel Bryan teased a baby face turn at a house show in the Philippines. After a match with SmackDown champion Kofi Kingston, he raised Kofi's hands and gave him mad props to the crowd. Fickle Daniel Bryan would never do that. So that's pretty good stuff. WWE and Paramount Pictures have made a deal to work on movies. The first one is an animated movie called Rumble, and it will star Roman Reigns, Becky Lynch, Will Arnett, Terry Crews, Tony Danza, and more. They will voice the characters. While popular ESPN personality Stephen A. Smith and famous boxing announcer Michael Buffer are set for roles as well. What the movie is about, it's set in a world where monster wrestling is a global sport, and monsters are superstar athletes. Winnie seeks to follow in her father's footsteps by coaching an underdog monster into a wrestling champion. So it sounds pretty good for adults and kids, you know what I mean? I'll definitely check Rumble out. All right, let's get to Impact Wrestling. Just a reminder, real quick, that my dog Sami Callihan will be fighting for the Impact World title at their WrestleMania, Impact's biggest show of the year, called Bound for Glory, on October 20th. He should have been world fucking champion this whole year. How does Impact vote him Wrestler of the Year for 2018 and he doesn't even have the fucking belt? People get ready for the thumbs up, thumb down era, because it is coming. Also, Killer Kross did another interview. They asked him about his Impact situation. As we reported months ago, he asked for his release from the company. It was a dispute over money. They came back to him and offered him a 6-figure deal, but it would take over 3 years to pay it. He wasn't fucking hearing that shit. So here's what Killer Kross had to say about the situation. "We'll never stop talking about it until it fucking goes away, because the situation is ridiculous. And I'm being as civil and as cool as totally possible. And you know, there's a line that I have to walk. Disparagement and so forth," Kross told Frank Sarin. "The situation is fucking bullshit, and everyone who is in on it knows this. And the whole entire thing is going to eventually come to light." So still, man, there's bad blood between Killer Kross and Impact. Impact seems like they're so cool to work for, but you know fucking, Eli Drake left because he didn't want to fight a female, which I think is fucked up, but that's his opinion. And now this shit with Killer Kross do. Killer Kross is a star, man. They're going to lose some big talent there, I'm telling you. All right, New Japan. In New Japan Wrestling and all over the world, if you watch ECW back in the day, that's how long this guy's been around. His name is Jushin Thunder Liger. Well, he was fighting New Japan's Madman Suzuki, who is no joke. During a match, Jushin took off his mask and he did reveal his other persona, which is Kishin Liger. Now, Jushin has only used this persona 4 times in his wrestling career. Kishin Liger is a fucking maniac killer. So after he revealed his mask, he has his white makeup on instead of a mask like Jushin does. But anyway, Kishin pulled out a fucking blade, a knife. It literally looked like the same knife that the killer from Scream would have. And you would think it's fake. Anyway, Suzuki was in a corner. He had a table behind his back, and Kishin actually ran at him full speed in a corner and went to stab him. And he moved, of course, but the knife went right through the table. And their wooden tables are hard as fuck. So it definitely was not fake at all. But it's awesome to see Jushin Thunder Liger ending out his career with a different persona also, because Kishin Liger is fucking vicious. So definitely tune in to New Japan for that. They had the Young Lion Cup. It's been going on. Your winner of it is Carl Fredericks. The Young Lion Cup is kind of like the Cruiserweight tournament. Not even really. Like, it's kind of the King of the Ring, but not. It's like pretty much their next big star. Who's up and coming and going to be big. Carl Fredericks I'm not too familiar with, but if he won, the kid's got to be dope. I'm going to check him out. And then also, Jay White won their Intercontinental title, which is great. He has a title, but it's bullshit because Jay White should be heavyweight fucking champion again. Real quick from UFC news. I did report that a UFC fighter asked Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson if he would put the title around his waist if he won at the upcoming UFC 244. The Rock tweeted back that he is doing everything in his power to be there. Well, Dana White did take to Twitter days after and confirm that The Rock will be at UFC 244 and will present whoever the winner is with the UFC title. And that's pretty sweet. Now, two news stories real quick. Enzo Amore did a kick-ass interview on Busted Open Radio Friday. I'm serious. Whether you hate the guy, you love the guy, whatever. It was a very good interview. He was very candid, very humble, very real. He even talked about all the big cash shit and all that. So definitely check out Enzo on Busted Open Radio on Sirius XM. And then if you're a fan of Glow, the TV show and the old wrestling show, but Glow on Netflix, it has been revealed that they are confirmed to have a 4th season, but unfortunately it will be their final season. If you haven't watched Glow, give it a chance. It's a good time. It's fucking awesome. It's funny. The chicks are hot. I'm glad to see Glow is coming back for a 4th season, but I'm sad to see that it is ending. All right, peeps, that's it for the YouTube wrestling show this week. We will have a Movies and More episode 8 tomorrow night sometime. And then Wednesday or Thursday, we'll have another AEW Insider podcast. And then this weekend, we'll also have a YouTube video. And then we're also going to be dropping 31 horror movies to watch in the month of October, part 2. So definitely show us some love. If not, just watch the shit. I don't ask you guys for money yet, but for real, definitely just show us support by liking, sharing, subscribing, and spreading the word. Remember, we're AEW Insider on Facebook and YouTube, and the AEW Insider 1 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow, actually, with Movies and More, and show us some love. As always, I'm your host, Lee Benson. Thank you so much for joining me on the AEW Insider. Ciao, peeps.